How do you come up with this style?
Through everything.
Okay.
Like my style could vary from like time periods, fashion, art, people, culture. There's no limit to where I could get inspired for my style.
What you think about the style?
I like it. So what? Since you add on to that, I was gonna ask you. So does it change daily?
It does change every single day.
So it's nothing twice.
Nothing twice.
Okay.
I have
Fire.
my styles like under lock and key. Like I love like Japanese fashion.
Okay.
I love like 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. Like just like art, culture, like history. It's like heavy influence for my fashion, even like movies. Like this is kind of like a very like a Mad Max look,
Okay.
like FKA Twigs, like very like that inspiration. So it could be anything, honestly.
So like your creative process, is that like at night in the shower? Like I know for me, I'll think about my outfit while I'm in the shower.
For me, it's come naturally in the morning. Like I can't plan my outfit before like nighttime because it's like I don't know how I'm gonna feel that day. So when I wake up, if I feel a certain mood, that's how I'm gonna be that day.
I respect it.
Yeah. I just gotta make it fun all the time.
How long you think this process takes?
Not that long, honestly. I think my makeup is just like 30 minutes and then my clothes like 10 minutes. I just like pick whatever and it just flows. Like I don't have to map anything out.
Okay.
So is your room like junky?
Oh yeah, it's a
Okay, I'm
mess.
like, just-
Because sometimes I just have to run like go through my closet. I have like a really cool organized IKEA closet, so you know me. Gotta arrange all the kawaii to the crazy. So
So I had asked Will this like a while ago. Like, do you believe in like a set limit on garments?
honestly, I'm not a minimalist.
Oh,
Like I wish I promote like if you're a minimalist, that's cool and everything. But for me, it's like I could say like even if I'm going on a trip, I wish I could just take my whole wardrobe with me because I don't like planning my outfits out. Because it's just like sometimes I'm not feeling that way or I don't care like feel the hype over the outfit anymore. So I'm just like a very spontaneous, let me throw it on type person. But it has to work because if I don't like it, I'm not leaving the house type thing.
So do you feel like if it doesn't work, do you go shopping for something new?
No, because I do have a lot. Like I was working at a thrift store at Buffalo Exchange for like 2 years. I literally bought things every single week and all the time. So I could say I have like everything I want. Like it took me a while to like acquire all the things that's very Eve like in my wardrobe because struggling from like high school and shit, I didn't have money and all that to like acquire all the clothes I wanted. But when I finally got a job, I was like
Spend.
spend, and plus I'm getting designer and like creative stuff that I actually like for less. I'm like blow all your paycheck every single week.
So you feel that kids can have style without the price point, like the ridiculous price point?
Honestly,
How did you get that confidence?
Because honestly, for me, it's not even about the designer, it's about what it looks like. So like before I even had thrift stores, I low-key went to Hot Topic all the time and like I created my wardrobe through that. Or like I would cut things or like make things like cool or whatever, like tinker garments and stuff like that. So like I had a style even before like I found thrifting or like I found designer labels because designer isn't everything.
Correct.
Like it could enhance your wardrobe, but you don't need designer to look cool.
Correct.
You know?
What you think about like for the people that only feel like designer is cool?
I mean, that's great and everything, but also it's like there's a time like for like if you're especially like an influencer or someone that like people look up to, like it's hard for someone to achieve that look if they don't have that money. So it's like for me it's like you don't have to try and have the wallet to look cool. It's not about that. Like if you have the wallet and you want to sport all designer labels, that's cool, but also it's a type of designers you support.
Correct.
Because not every designer has like a vision or a look. It's just very you have a garment, you have a name on that garment.
And it's something you might think is new and it's old and it's stolen.
Exactly. Like, honestly, someone that's like, yeah, Gucci's cool, but if you're like Gucci down, it's like, yeah, that's cool, but I don't see much style to that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like if you're wearing Rick Owens,
Yeah,
that's
you know,
a
that's my
whole
favorite, right?
different
You know what I mean?
look.
That's my favorite
That's
right
like
there, you know what I mean?
silhouettes. Like
Yeah.
that's what I look for a
It's
designer, the
pieces.
silhouette.
Hidden.
Like if the silhouette is crazy, I'm gonna like you. If you're not a silhouette person, you're just like a basic tee, a logo, a sweatpant, a logo. Like
killing me.
that's cool,
That's my favorite.
but not for every day, you know?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you know, the time I saw you in the Rick dress, I was like, God, fire! Like just seeing like how open you are and diverse with
Yeah.
like just personal style. It's like it's crazy. So traveling outside. We had this conversation about traveling outside of New York
Mm-hmm.
and how people embrace you far as looking different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what would you say the interaction is with you with stepping outside of New York?
It's funny because I go to Connecticut all the time because my dad lives in Connecticut.
Mhm.
Total different ball game. Like honestly, I have to like
Tone it down, you think?
tone it down a whole lot for
But
my
why?
dad because let's be honest. Like my dad, like dressing up in Connecticut is like if you're going to dinner and you'll wear like a nice bodycon dress
Okay.
and
I know-
stuff like that, or like typical like apparel is like let's just go to Walmart and wear sweatpants and a shirt and go everywhere in the world with that look. Like
Yep.
so I have to literally just wear a graphic tee and like some like shorts or like some pants and that's it.
Yep.
No crazy makeup, nothing like that.
Yeah.
Like just normal. Even though I always still look crazy no matter what. Like I just like it's a normal vibe out there. Very chill. Fashion is just not a big thing out there. Because I feel also like the environment and what you're doing, you're around like trees and grass all the time, wearing like some high end or like some cool shit. Like no one cares.
So do you think like it's unnecessary, or you just feel like well, I'm in Connecticut, there's no need to dress up?
I feel for me,
It's not like
I don't
losing
care.
yourself.
Like the type of person
Okay.
I'll go down the street and still look like a Disney princess. I don't give a hell.
Okay.
But like, it's just me. But like for them, it's like not necessary, and I could see why it's not necessary. But also, it's just very boring. But it's like there's nothing to do out there. There's like malls, there's like restaurants. There's nothing that it's not a city environment where like you could just walk down the street and have nowhere to go, but you still make an impact.
So I
to
have a
many
question for
people.
you. Like I was talking to O, and I was like, I feel like New York makes you view clothes differently, makes you view fashion differently. When
Yeah.
you go other places, you're just like, it's
Yeah.
not necessary. Like you were saying.
Yeah.
So do you feel like New York has made you like, not made you, but like pushed you more like, yeah, I should be more free spirited, wear what I want, do what I want, and then express yourself accordingly?
I definitely think New York City does have an like enhancement of it, but also it's like I was always that kid that like wanted to be different and look different. Like when it's winter and I wanted to wear a skirt, I would wear my denim jeans and wear a skirt on top of that. Like I was just always that person. Or like if I was playing with dolls, I would always like cut their clothes up and like dye their hair in like freaking Kool-Aid, or like I was always that person that just wanted to do different things.
Creative
So I
from the
was
beginning.
always like the person that stood out
Okay.
of like the classroom. But that's just me. But I also feel like if you're growing up in New York City, you are gonna be influenced by like the creative environment, especially if you grow up in the city itself. Because I come from Queens, and like honestly,
Oh,
no
yeah,
one
Queens is
in
not-
Queens cares about
They're
fashion
real-
at all.
They were like blah.
Like
unless
literally
you're, like, a
everyone
scammer.
in my neighborhood looks normal. Looks like 10 years ago.
Mm.
And they're fine with that. But like if you're like growing up in like Brooklyn or like more of in like the hypey areas where like you're around a lot of art and like culture and stuff, I feel like you're under influence more, you know?
I agree with that.
Do you feel like it's pressure to that sometimes? Like to not for you per se, but like individual when they go like try to be like I remember I was reading something today, it was like the weird shit won't last. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like not necessarily everyone's trying to be weird. Some people are just themselves. So how do you feel about that?
That I actually get a little annoyed about because knowing me, I was always that weird girl. So it's kind of annoying sometimes that like everyone is hopping on the weird trend. Like everyone wants to be weird now. Everyone wants to be like punk, goth, like hyping Japanese fashion, which is cool and everything. But I'm also like, be yourself. If that's not really you, don't just do it because it's also a trend. That's why like if you shouldn't, no one should be pressured to look or be a certain way. If that's not you, then don't do that. It doesn't have to be you.
How do you feel society's impact on that?
I feel like everyone wants to be something because especially with Instagram and like all the social media platforms, people are seeing all these like Insta famous people and how they look and their cool hair and their piercings and like just like how everyone is like the it girl and they want to be that. So they're going to do that as well and try to act and look the part. But I feel like it's a phase.
I agree with that.
Unless you've always wanted to be that person and now you're getting the motivation.
Yeah.
That's
And
two
the
different
attention. I
things.
feel
to
like
go out there
the
and do it.
attention
Yeah.
plays a lot to it because you
Yeah.
could be. Dang, that's gonna sound crazy. You could be like just a loner. You could be a
Yeah.
loner and you make your Instagram and now you got 100,000 people following. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
people know like you're cared for, your love for, it, and
Yeah.
you're like, I don't need y'all.
Yeah.
I got Instagram, and then
Yeah.
that's it.
But I feel like all this stuff, it's just never gonna last that long. Like it's all for the hype right now, but you don't know what's gonna happen in the next year or 2 or 3. And then honestly, without someone knowing your Instagram, who are you?
No, I feel
Yeah.
like it depends on what you're doing with your platform. Yes,
Yeah.
and you are right. Like you can't put some people I've seen can put your resume on. I mean, can't put your Instagram on a resume, but if you can't, then it's like, what are you doing?
But that's different. I'm talking about more of like just people just being like, oh, I'm pretty and I'm famous.
Oh no,
Like having
unless
like
you're endorsed.
talent is like different on Instagram from actually just being someone that wears cool clothes and gets a lot of hype because they wear cool clothes. You know, I feel like if you're known for something or you have passion or you're like you promote yourself to be something more than just the clothes, that's also like different.
But in today's age, you don't need necessarily a talent. You don't need necessarily a skill. Your skill could be, like you said, I am pretty on Instagram, and then
Yeah.
you're getting endorsements. You are making a career out of it. So like I do understand what you're saying, but it also is that shallow part where people are just like, bro, if my fits go viral and I get endorsed, that's it. And then later on, I'm like, yeah, I think I want to sing, guys. Okay, we'll push you through.
I get what you mean. Like it could be a gateway for like future opportunities.
But you
in
don't think it's a
life.
concrete foundation.
I don't think it's concrete.
Okay.
And I just feel like, okay, if you are so that person, just also have a positive attitude for people that aren't in that realm as you. Because I feel also
What
like,
you mean?
like when all that, like the likes and the follows and like the,
Oh, like don't put someone down?
yeah.
Okay, that's what you
Like
mean.
don't let it get to your head and don't think you're just above people because like sometimes I feel like a lot of these people are just like I'm above you now because I have like 100K or more in followers
100K with no money in the bank.
and it's like don't do that to someone that doesn't have that or don't look down at someone that doesn't have that following like because they could be special and cool and have great style and personality but don't take it for granted also.
And before
Yeah.
Instagram, we were in the same boat. Well, we're still in the same boat.
Exactly.
Just Instagram.
Exactly. And honestly, if I see you in the street, I don't know your followers or who you are. So honestly, we're all the same.
What I've learned, like I was talking to them, and I was just like, "Yo, I don't think I'm a nice person." And I was like, "They was like, what you mean?" I'm like, "I think my first impressions when people meet me is never always good, but I'm learning to like, oh hey, you don't ever want to be that person that be like, yo, I remember him and he wasn't approachable, but you always want to be the person in the room like, oh no, he was nice, he smiled, like you don't like. And I realize when you sometimes I see Instagram people and I'm like, well, like they said the Instagram people, I'm like, attitude is disgusting. Like it's a facade, and you should always want to be like. I went through something. And I was like, yo, you just want to be happy and blessed and be nice to whoever because you never know what could happen. And just like that, life could change. And now you wishing you was nicer to such and such, and now you just burn that bridge. You should never burn bridges with people.
Yeah, you should never, no matter how big or small.
Yeah, but sometimes that's actually the person though, just in themselves. Like I can use myself as a perfect example for that. Like people that might have known me like years ago, they might have been like, oh well, he has like the worst attitude ever. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't grow up in New York. I transitioned into New York, and like just with my style and the things that I liked, the people around me, they felt like I was trying to have this certain style just for like gratification from other people. And it's like, nah, this just my style. But saying that I had this certain persona about me. It was like, oh nah, he stuck up, he this, he that, and it's like, no, this is just really me. But if you get to know me, you'll be able to see like, nah, well, you might consider that like you might, you know,
when someone tells you,
it depends. It's really that interaction. You really have to be able to want to break down that barrier and to see like, you know, what else is behind that door of that person. You know what I'm saying?
People,
not to cut you off, just real quick. If we were outside and somebody was to see you, like, oh, they might judge you and be like, oh, she looks weird. You know what I'm saying? But they don't know who you are. You know what I'm saying?
I always get the impression that I look mean all the time.
Yeah, but
all
why
the time?
though? Because we just caught up in the stereotype of, you know, what we're used to. And when you're only used to a certain thing, it's hard to open up that mindset of just something new.
Yeah.
No, but that's also comes from when people just judge you. Like, your persona of you is just because they didn't. It's people when someone makes a persona of you is they never spoke to you, they don't know nothing about you, and then it always changes. Like, oh, I thought you were such and such, but you're actually a nice person. Yeah, because you judge me based off what you see, and it's like you don't know where everyone has. You don't know what no one has gone through. Sorry, and you don't know what people deal with. So you should just he looked nice. Tell him he looked nice. Like it's on. Oh, he won 1,500 shoes. He think he better than niggas. No, that's what he like. Like I never understood the fascination with other people watching other people spend their own money on the stuff they want. It's like, bro, if I want to spend money on my item and you have priorities, which is your own priority, you shouldn't make me feel bad about spending money on something that I want.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't judge me either.
I feel like that's how fashion can open doors though, because even if I might have this certain idea of who this person is, like I might say like, well, I don't really rock with that person, but I like the style. Like how we was having a conversation about like, you know, the person not trying to, you know what I'm saying, give you the benefit of the doubt, like how you look. It's like if I like your style, maybe I don't like give you that compliment, but you know, in the behind closed doors, I'm out trying to predict this same look that you got. Imitate this same look. It's like, damn.
I think people are also just like intimidated, and they're just like they're either
we don't know how to interact.
Jealous or like envious, because also like in school for me, everyone was always like, why don't you just dress like everyone else? Like why don't you just look like everyone else?
But you don't have to. Wow.
I want to get a group started.
Or it's just like I just feel like when something is different or like odd to them, or it's like we're not on the same boat, they feel like they cannot communicate as easy. And they feel like belittled, even though you're not belittling them at all.
To add on to what you said is like they see themselves in you, but they can't do it in a way. So they kind of like, okay, sabotage. And it's like, bro, just be happy. Like, just be happy. Like, back to you. I used to never wear a uniform. People would be like, oh, he's not wearing a uniform. I'm like, bro, I walked past everybody today. Nobody said nothing. What's the issue?
Exactly.
Like, oh, you're a snatch. Okay.
I had this mindset of, this idea of like 14th Street, like Union Square, how like everyone be in Union Square. You see all different types of people in Union Square and all different cliques and stuff like that. And I was like, damn, this would be like the perfect like meetup for like people that are outspoken. Like the way that they dress and shit is like, this like the perfect kick it spot. Like, you know what I'm saying? We all just broke down like a folded chair one day and just posted up. Like that would be crazy. Imagine how many people would like show up. That would be like
interaction.
You know what I'm saying? It would be crazy. And I feel like that would open a lot of doors for, you know, for the people that do feel some type of way about themselves that can't necessarily speak out on how they want to dress because they're limited to the idea that's surrounded with, oh well, if you dress like this, you know, you're gonna be put in a certain category of being weird.
It's
you know what I'm saying?
Bro.
Yeah, it's like it's crazy how much fashion can dictate, you know, somebody's views, and it's.
But you gotta not care though, because I remember I was wearing women jeans before it was a popular thing. The shots,
facts. Like, I did that.
It was something that wasn't spoke about. Like a lot of
stuff. Size up though.
A lot of nice pieces that I have are women, but you would never know. And I feel
you got to be able to.
People aren't like self-efficient. Like everybody needs validation, and it's like that's when it starts going eerie. Yeah, because when you be genuine, you go, yeah, it's a woman. They go, oh, but if I would have just told you, I don't know, you would have left me alone. Oh, it's fine,
you would have been like, yeah, that's hard. Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah.
So do you wear unisex pieces?
Honestly, it doesn't matter for me. Like if I like it, I'll go for it. It doesn't matter the size or like the gender. Like as long as it works and I put it on and it looks cool, I'm gonna do it.
Question, Eve, are you a compulsive shopper?
Yes.
I am.
You just smiled.
I am a compulsive shopper. Sometimes I'm getting better. Before I would just buy, but now I've like really focused on like buying things that I truly like see myself in, rather just like things that I will like toss out. That's why also like I've stopped like really supporting like fast fashion and like just started like just thrifting. So like honestly, I could say 85% of my wardrobe is just thrifting.
Mm-hmm.
Like I literally got rid of almost everything that's like fast fashion.
Why?
Just because I feel like there's more value in like a thrifting item that's like, and also for me when I thrift like things I've never heard of, like indie designers, designer. I don't really buy like things that are like vintage. I don't buy things that are like not really valuable to me when I'm thrifting, because I feel like thrifting is like a treasure hunt. So when I'm hunting for treasure, I want to find gold and diamonds. I don't want to find, you know, something that's like copper or something like that, you know?
Copper's valuable.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you need a lot of copper.
Like literally.
A lot of copper.
But like, yeah, I took like a sustainability class in like FIT when
That's
I was
super
going
important.
there.
That's super important.
And that taught me so much about like fashion. That's why after I like graduated FIT, I went straight for Buffalo Exchange because it was like
bragging rights.
It was a thrifting place. I was just like, screw fast fashion. I don't want to support that like vibe, that like that whole like company, that whole like supporting like the government and just making money off of like fast fashion, and then it's like ruining our environment. And the people that are making these garments are paying like 5 cents.
Yeah, it's like
horrible.
Yeah, we had a discussion on that, and it was like the exact same topic about like sustainability and being able to like know where these things are being made and how they're sourced and what they're doing to our environments is absolutely crazy. So that's why I introduced the limit of amount of items that I could have, like for us, like 25 items for me. That's a lot. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can just continue to recycle because I'm not going out and buying like this or that. I'm buying only what I feel like I need.
Not just that, things that have actual value, because if you want to sell it back to be sustainable, you could just sell it to someone else that appreciates it. Because that's what I done. Like, even though I'm a compulsive shopper, I would sell everything that I don't want anymore. So it's not like I'm like buying and then I'm just wasting. I'm getting a return from it and then buying other things that I want.
Oh no, when I buy stuff, I always want it. So that's why I still I'm listening out like,
I told him he need to put a cap on it. If you put a cap on it, like he said he put a cap on like for the things that he bought for us in the last 2 months. He put a cap on it. And that's the first start. Like that's literally the first start. Once you can like get that cycle going, it's like you will easily like start taking one thing. I don't need that. I don't feel like I need it. Or you will look to like your closet for references. Like I already got that already. I'm cool. Like, I'm gonna save that money on something else, or to put that money into maybe one good piece.
Yeah.
Versus like,
because also
those small purchases.
Because that's crazy. Like how it was back in the day. Like even like before the 2000s hit, like people always complain that designer, high end, or buying like stuff expensive is like too much money, they can't afford it, so they go to fast fashion or like malls to get like a bang for their buck. But like before, honestly, a lot of people didn't have money either, but there was only good quality stores. So people would literally save up their paychecks to get an item that would last forever.
Now everything's so fast produced that
and then it's like, in a way, if you think about it, you're buying a lot of stuff that's a bang for your buck and like really low quality, but also you wash it twice, it's in the garbage, it doesn't look good, and you have to buy more. So honestly, you're spending more money wasting it on low quality clothes than if you could save it up on something good and you'll have it for years.
I agree. Like that's so important to like try to get that message through, especially the kids, because I feel like kids now, they are put in predicaments where they have to try to fit in, because if not, they're gonna they might be bullied at school. This society is very different from what we grew up in to a certain extent. So it's like,
but it come from like your parents though.
Yeah, but not at school though, as far as the bullying.
I meant like but like, okay, so like I was a kid, I didn't get like a lot of new sneakers, but no one ever bought. It's weird, like I feel like how you carry yourself predicts on how you get treated.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like,
but did you appreciate the things that you did have?
Yeah, because I knew he had Jordans on, but he didn't have no money in his pocket.
Yeah.
I had money. My mom would take.
I mean, but that's even today.
It's weird. Like, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like
today.
You got to be installed. Like, hey, it's okay to not have the latest thing because you have. My mom said, I'd rather have no money and know that rent is paid and I have a bed to sleep on than me have all this designer and I don't have nowhere to sleep on. I'm sleeping on the ground. So like, that's how like sometimes it still correlates with me. Like, yeah, I'll splurge on design and I'm like, bro, it's okay. Like, I'll hold it down. It's okay. Like, it's not gonna kill me. Like, shoes are gonna be remade, fashion is remade, everything is recycled, so it's okay. I feel like because of society, it's so you must have release. You need it now. If you don't have it, it's like, oh, you didn't get them.
Yeah. So the trends on the runways and on the like the designers now that's coming out in the collections, how you feel on the styles, the different looks
for runway pieces?
Well, pieces and people.
Oh, I felt that.
And people. Because now it's like a certain look now. Like it's almost like 50-50. Like when you look at a runway show, it's like it's mixed.
Very androgynous.
Yeah, it's very mixed. Yes,
I feel like it's good. It's good. It's very welcome, and it's good to see different people and sizes on stage, depending on what it's for.
I feel like runway has come a long way because back then runway was never this.
It was dry.
It was real shallow.
It was dry.
It was very
cut and
to
dry.
the point. You have to be a 000, and if you're not a 000, you have to make sure you are a 000.
Can't eat, don't breathe.
But now I feel like it's becoming better. I just feel like more people have to hop on the bagwagon or whatever.
Like support it?
Bagwagon, yeah. And like I just feel like there just has to be very transparent type of thing. Like definitely all around, like more support towards the models, you know, not like a cut and dry situation, more like diversity and like color and like sizes.
Oh, okay.
Like, you know, just like more.
Like throughout.
Yeah.
Not just one time.
Not
like,
just one time.
Oh, we
like,
did it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like just like.
Campaign wise, everything.
It has to be implemented in like the runway system. And like obviously America, but not just America, but like other countries as well, you know. Has to like try and be like more out there and open and supportive of like all people, all sizes, all genders. And I feel like it will get there. It will just take a little bit more time.
What you think could push the issue?
I just feel like we need more supporters like within like the design companies because it's like not one person could do it alone.
They need to hire more a younger audience to be able to like get that message across.
So, I have a question for you guys. So, you feel like the designer market is catered to one specific group, right? And if it expands, it'll generate more money, or you just want it to be open to all?
What do you mean, like cater to?
So, like more, like how you said, like the size 0 like. So I was like thinking about when people design, they're on a mannequin. The mannequin's already small one size. Yeah. So they look for a model to fit that size. Now, if that changes, wouldn't they have to like start everything from scratch? They would have to double the material. They have to make what the size is. Wouldn't that be more money? Your opinion on it. I'm not like, I don't know. I'm just brainstorming here.
I feel like it would not be that much money because let's be honest, these designers don't pay that much for their garments to begin with, like that. So it's a really huge markup when they like put their stuff for sale.
Yeah.
So I feel like they can make it happen as long as they want it to make it happen.
Because you're gonna define the luxury. You're gonna define what's luxury. You're gonna pay more in the labor than the actual material cost.
Exactly.
So why do you guys feel?
Just like a 000 person would pay thousands of dollars for a garment, a plus size person would pay $1,000 for a garment if it's in their size.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you're. I was about to ask you, like, so why is it that they only focus on one group and not the other?
I think that's the stereotype that people should only be these sizes. Like these are the like it would go back to the introduction of how they viewed what is runway, having only this particular person look like this height, this skin type, this hair type, this eye color. Like that is the look. So they're not going outside of that spectrum trying to introduce the person that is over that size into these ideas that they already have set already.
Okay.
But also, I feel like it also comes down with just like history. Like when Runway first started and like how like society in the world was, there wasn't that much bigger sizes. Like people were more like
Healthy?
health conscious at that in that like era. I feel like back then people were more like at home wives and like all they did was like focus on like what they look like, and they weren't like go-getters or like people viewed like their weight more, I think, at that time, or their sizes.
Okay.
So I feel like now it's like more of like a trend where like you don't have to be this size. You could be whoever you want to be, whatever shape. And there's like stuff like garments for you. Because back then, like I said, like when there was only mainly designer and not much like fast fashion, you had to make sure you were a certain size to fit clothes that designers
Yeah, now
put
everything's
out.
pretty
No,
much
she wouldn't get no
accessible.
clothes.
Yeah,
Okay.
everything
Yeah.
is a lot more
Because
accessible.
if you look at all like those photos like in the 1920s, there
Yeah,
was
everybody's
no one that was ever like
they had the husky.
bigger than like
I was
before.
in
If
the
they
husky
are,
side.
they
No,
were
no,
old.
I was
like,
a husky.
you only got weight when you
I
were
was a
old.
husky.
Exactly.
Like-
Everyone was like health conscious, like looking at what they ate, and like they ate very little too. There wasn't much like fast food out there. There was much more like, healthy eating.
And portion control.
Yeah, and portion
I feel.
control. Or after a time, people wouldn't eat. Like it was very like to that regimen.
Mhm.
So I feel like now since like we hit the 2000s, like people are just more like it's like a whole different era.
Okay.
So I feel like everything else changed, but like Runway did not change.
So it's like,
Yeah.
So it's now like Runway is now realizing, wow, like we actually have other people that want fashion and they are not a 000, so we have to maybe try and like create content for them.
I think it's the cycling out process going on.
But do you
Yeah.
feel like will that
getting
change the
old people out.
standards? Like I seen a video and it was like during Fashion Week and some girl was modeling but she was stomping. Like she was like, and I was like, that doesn't look too good. So what is your take on that? Like if they're gonna change that and like we're bringing all these new people in, that's fine. Should they still keep the same etiquette? Like, hey, you need to walk left, right, up.
I feel like it depends on what show or like what the fashion or the style is, because every show or
No,
like
for luxury.
designer has like, yeah, but like every designer has their own like aesthetic of how they want their runway show to be.
Okay.
So just like how V-Files is like very like, hip hoppy, like DJs
In your face,
on
boom.
yeah, very like, not traditional. If you're not traditional, then that's fine. But if you're traditional, I feel also it's still nice to have the etiquette and like the nice, runway walks and all of that. It just depends on who you are and what you want and what's your vision for runway also.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
I like that.
Rick,
Your vision on
Rick
runway.
had a Rick had a 2014 show. I think it was 2014 or 2015, where he flew. I think it was like 100+ girls to Paris to do this run show, and the runway was all fraternity. Like they were stepping the whole time, so like all of the frats, they was just coming out, but they were like, they're in designer pieces, but they're literally having a step show on what we consider like runway, but they're stepping in the garments. I was like, nah, that was it was just fine. Like being able to try to set new rules to this and not just putting limits to what we consider is like
Tradition.
Yeah, tradition is like you have to be open to just new ideas in order to push everything forward, because if not, we're just going to continue to push the same cycle over and over and over again. This is cool,
and not
this
just
ain't
that
cool.
If you're a true supporter of that designer, whoever, obviously if you're going to that show, you love the designer or appreciate the designer to some type of level, so you will support their moves, just like you like really love Rick Owens and you're like
fascinated.
You support his vision on like how he did like that show and everything. It just depends. Like I can't see that happening for Chanel, but
Never.
Rick Owens, yeah.
Yeah, never.
Everyone has their way of doing things.
Yeah. That's more of a like, I guess just that's more of a personal
Preference.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So just gonna depend on you. What you indulge in.
Yeah, what you want to see on the runway.
Yeah.
Or how you want to portray or like show an impact on society. You know?
So when was the last time you been into like a luxury store?
Probably like a couple weeks ago.
What store you went into?
I actually went into Rick Owens.
Oh, nice. Okay. Okay, so maybe not Rick. We don't talk about the Rick store. 'Cause I'm biased on that. Okay, so what about
Let it go.
Yeah, another store.
Like Gucci.
Okay. So what were you looking? Were you looking for anything in particular, or just
Normally
checking
when
out
I
the new
go
styles?
to like luxury stores, I just go for inspiration or like what's new, what they have out there. That's what I like. I like to see a lot of things. Like I'm a very visual person, so I feel like seeing visuals every day, it enhances me to like see like, okay, what's out there and what I can make like look cool or interesting. It's not technically just shopping to be like, oh yeah, I want like something from the Gucci store. It's just to see like what patterns or like what's fun or like trending for the season and stuff like that. It's always good to be knowledgeable or aware.
Right.
Yeah. Because for the person that necessarily can't afford these garments, they could draw that inspiration from going into like, you know, certain stores or surfing the web and getting that same like dialogue and being able to like recite it at a cheaper price point.
Yeah, it's like making a moon
Because
board.
also not just that, you have to understand at the end of the day, everything is a label. Like
correct.
Without if you rip all these labels out, what are they? Just clothes.
Would you be able to tell the difference?
That's what people gotta fail to realize. It's just clothes, bro.
Like it's just clothes.
Without like the creativity of a garment that's making it special within itself. Like if you was to put a basic whatever t-shirt, we'll just say we'll just keep it a basic t-shirt. Just a basic t-shirt next to, you know, a luxury t-shirt. Would you be able to tell the difference if it didn't have that particular label in it?
Not necessarily. I mean, obviously the quality.
Yeah, I'm like, quality always plays a factor.
But sometimes even with the quality, they are the same.
Touching it, it just looks like a normal.
Yeah, white t-shirt is a white t-shirt.
If you see it on someone walking, you can't tell the difference, honestly, unless you go up close and start touching and feeling. Then you'll know.
Or like you read the fine print, like, oh.
Yeah.
But honestly, a white t-shirt is a white t-shirt. It looks the same. It won't look that drastically different, honestly. But
so what you feel on like the hype?
The hype of like trends.
So if you go to Soho, right, you got all different types of groups in Soho, but you also have like the particular hype in Soho as well. So I want to know, like, what's your thoughts on that?
I feel like it makes things interesting. Like, I don't hate it. I don't mind it. I feel
like you blend in?
I never find myself as blending in. I guess maybe to someone else, I probably like could be categorized to that type of group. But for me, like, I'm just a person, and I don't necessarily like gear towards those type of people that may look similar to me. I mean, it's cool because, we may share like similar interests or styles, but like if I talk to you and we have nothing in common or we don't get along, then that breaks everything. Like I don't care how cool you look to me.
I agree.
If anything, if you're not like attractive or like, you know, we don't have a good conversation anyway, or we don't have similarities, or it's just like very awkward silence, like why am I even here? You know, I'm just not gonna stand in that group and be like, oh yeah, this is like the cool, like this trendy group. So let me just like
the cool group.
Huddle on the side and be like, oh yeah, I'm kind of with them, you know. It's not like that.
No, you should want to engage with the people around you.
It's just weird for me.
I mean, but you do see that. I mean, you will see that no matter where you go.
There is people that feel better about being in those type of groups. They feel, like if that makes you happy at the end of the day, then that's great. But that doesn't make me happy at the end of the day. Like, I love a cool person, but I would love it even more if you're cool and we could goof around with each other and like actually have a real bond. Because also that's with me, like, relationships are meaningful to me no matter what it is. So it's like I'm not like a cut and dry, like if we're friends or I know you in some type of way, like we better have like a good connection and not like, oh yeah, I saw you once, you were wearing a cool dress.
But sometimes that's how you
meet people again.
Remember people like, damn, I remember you because you had on this. It's
not necessarily always a bad thing. You mean like if it was just like
like, I hung out with you because you looked cool. I just find that to be just very like
Sometimes, but that could be the relationship starter though. Just because you already have that type of connection with that person because they share these certain interests as you.
You're right on that. You are right on that. But it's like like when something is like a dead end or when something is not a dead end. So it's like
this is it.
Yeah.
Okay, this is gonna blossom some more.
Yeah, like you could feel that energy.
Yeah.
But I just feel like some people don't care about whether it's a dead end or not. They just feel like this is the moment and it looks picture worthy, and everyone outside of that looks like intimidated, so they hang around and huddle around the picture worthy crew because it's all about what other people that don't look like that think.
Yeah.
Sometimes. But I like that, like, fashion is more important and, like, right now we're just, like, being someone, even if it's just, like, a creative way. I feel like that's really cool right now because I feel like it's definitely more artsy and more inspirational. And I feel like growing up, if you're especially young, you could get inspired and, like, really decide your path in life. And it doesn't have to be so straightforward or, very, like, you have to look like this at this age. Because that's also a thing. I think fashion is ageless. Anyone can look however they want, no matter how young or how old you are.
But that's good and bad, though.
It depends on your take on it. Because your freedom to express yourself should never be limited.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you can't, and if you comes to age, you can't. Because you're a person. That person, that child is a person. That's going to grow up to an adult.
Nah, I'm going to give you, just because I don't want to go down that road. I'm going to give you that. Because in my mind.
If children only, think about it real quick, right? You only know something is wrong because someone told you it's wrong, right?
Yeah.
So when I see kids go, like in the store, they pick a pink shirt. Their mom goes, "You want pink? No, you should get blue." Instead of just saying it a different way, you're making your child think like everything pink is like wrong. And it's like, you shouldn't, society like dictates so much of how you think. And then you just be like, bro, you shouldn't think like that.
Also, it's like, it's funny because when I was working at Buffalo for 2 years, it would be crazy that we would have to tag items a certain way or else people wouldn't buy them. If we tagged a scarf that is genderless, but if we tagged it as women's, a guy wouldn't buy it. He'd be like, it's a women's scarf. Even though it looks nothing like, not feminine anyway.
Yeah.
So I feel like also
it's a title.
Hopping on what you said, it's like implementing that like that gender, idea. Like, you can't, it's tagged women's, you can't buy it. Oh, it's pink, you can't buy it. Oh, it's like, it shouldn't be that way. It's just a garment. It's just clothes.
It's just, it's just clothes.
Yeah.
Your clothes don't define who you are as a person.
It's like a psychological thing.
Yeah, it fucks people up.
Those, see, both y'all made
fucks you up. And you be like,
valuable points, but I was going down a whole different path.
Yeah, I know you
were. But y'all saved me.
That's what I said.
You saved me.
You about to say something. I was just saying
Nope. I was like, nope, I'm not going down that path.
My God.
Yep, so you saved me. Yep. That was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, it's crazy. That's why, honestly, I'm happy that things are becoming a little better from back then because people from young need to understand that like it doesn't always have to be that way. Like you are who you are and a garment or something is not going to change who you are. It's literally just psychology. Like you shouldn't get stressed over it or be like, oh, is this a women's watch or a men's watch? It's just a watch. Like
just put it on.
It should not.
And one is more than the other.
Exactly. It should not have a value or like if you're wearing it, be like, oh, I'm a different person now because I'm wearing a pink shirt.
Yeah, you got superpowers. Superpowers now.
Like, who am I?
I mean, but clothes can give you superpowers, though.
It can give you
superpowers. It can give you a great confidence, but your confidence is learned.
Exactly.
And that's what people don't understand. That's why, like, the freedom of speech, the freedom to express yourself is so important that you need to understand that you can express yourself no matter what way, but you should have your parents there to tell you, express yourself how you want.
Yeah.
Because like with kids like Apple, it's like you gotta express yourself like when your child name's Apple, but it's like you got a son, you tell him, yeah, you can't wear pink, purple, or lavender. It's like, and then he goes, why? Like I realized our generation, we didn't like when I grew up, I couldn't ask why. Now everybody's like, okay, why?
Yeah.
And what you gonna say? It's for girls. How's it for girls?
Yeah.
Exactly.
How is it color for girls?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't put limits on him. It's all about the wording, like the
Yeah, I think wordplay plays a part
the
in
wording.
everything.
Yeah, so I would never put like restrictions on him because I don't put a restriction on me. So if I see a piece I like, I don't care if it's me female or male. Like if I like it, I like it. Like plain and simple. I think my Rick Owen trainers are considered women, but I mean I still rock them though. Like it don't matter. Like you gonna be able to tell the difference? No,
it doesn't matter.
I don't
as long
care.
As you could flex. That's
Oh
all
yeah,
that
you know
matters.
what I'm saying? Like I don't
If you
care.
could flex at the end of the day, that's great.
I think
care about
people
that.
sometimes feel like they owe people stuff, and it's like, bro, you don't owe them nothing.
Yeah.
You don't owe nobody nothing.
Yeah.
Is that men or women? I don't know. All right.
I think
Because people ask you questions just to like it's like they make us like making a case like, hey, so what school you go to? Okay, she went to this school. Like, why are you doing this? Like, it's just like you're asking me for information, but you don't really care, bro. You just asking me to ask.
Yeah.
Don't bother me.
It's always just like to get under there. It's insane.
Yeah, I agree.
What do you think about fashion in different cultures?
Oh, that's solid.
Like in general?
Solid question.
We could go anywhere with this.
Okay. Well, I feel like besides, are we coaching? Yeah, we're coaching. Like I feel like it's a lot of tradition, and I don't think we have that. Mm-hmm. I'll start there. I feel like when I like think about the Chinese, Japanese, or I think about India, anywhere else is more tradition. Like it's passed down from generation. Us is like, we were wearing biker jackets in the 80s, and now we're not. Like, I feel like we were more like, oh, it's whatever. But I feel like tradition, depending on if you're going to accept that in your life or not, or like how close you are to your family does play a part. I feel like it's a great thing. I feel like who wouldn't want to know about their past and like their ancestors? I feel like if, like being slaves, like you're being a black person in America, it's cool that you learn that, like the repression, you learn that you weren't treated equal back then, like the clothes they got, like the trials and tribulation. I feel like that's a great thing to know. If you didn't have that, then it's like, okay, like I don't know, I'm missing the point, but it's like, yeah, like you want that history. Like why would you not want that history? I feel like when you see grandma's like, yeah, I'm Spanish, or like a Mexican, they able to pass down recipes, they able to pass down clothing pieces, like when you get married, sacred stuff that's worshipped and like passed down from generation. I think that's a beautiful thing for fashion wise. Sometimes it does scare me sometimes that a lot of cultures are against stuff. So I go, but you got to remember, I realized that didn't grow up that way. I didn't grow up that way, and I don't know that culture. So who am I to tell them like, no, you should fight that? Because people do die. So it's just like, gotta hold it down.
But also there's like culture like fusion into fashion. Like people go to different countries and get inspired and be like, I want to implement this, like look on a runway.
Yeah. Like,
but do you think that's a bad thing or a good thing?
It depends on how it's executed, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it can't be something that's like offensive that will, like raise heads. Like, a designer, like just like making hijabs and just making less sporting and casual.
Like I always tell him, I go, people don't do research, and I feel like if you do research, you will understand. I feel like people just go, I'm trendsetter, let me do it. Boom.
Yeah.
Why am I getting attacked? I just wanted to make clothes. Like, no, bro, that's someone's culture that you did not study or you did not act.
A couple years ago, I don't know, I think bindis were really in trend, where like anyone would just put a bindi on their head, on their face, and make it cool
What's a bindi?
Hippie, like the little
the crystal
jewelry. I know anyone and everyone was just putting it on their forehead and like making it, oh yeah, I look cool. But that also like raised a little controversy. Because the people that actually do this as a day living as like a religious, cultural like effect, you're just sporting it like it's a daily trend, and like at least like if you're wearing something like that, at least you have to give some type of consideration, or like at least like be aware of what the meaning.
What are you wearing? What do you mean?
Yeah.
And like when you're like talking about it or sporting it on the gram or Instagram or like social media in general, like at least give like credit. Let the public know that this is where that came from.
But sometimes that person don't know.
Yeah.
Because they got it from somebody else.
But you gotta ask questions and you again do research. Like,
but it's hard for someone really not to know about something like that. It's like,
well, you got different parts of areas where people are not they don't have that certain interaction with that particular group of people. Yeah. So it's hard trying to get that correlation of where this actually came from. Yeah. So it's like, how would that person get that information if they don't know where to look?
Yeah.
Especially like kids.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying?
But I feel like you have to, like, once a trend starts or like something happens, I feel like there's always a source or like someone talking about like where it's generated from. Like, trends don't just not happen from like nothing. It happens from somewhere. It always starts from somewhere.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you're making the effort to even like reach out or like Google Bindies on Amazon, you will see some history.
But what if articles?
But I'm saying, what if they didn't know what that was though?
Then you shouldn't be. That's the American problem.
Because you got a lot of trends now that people don't know what they're doing. I mean, you can even look at the Gucci incident for us, like, you know what I'm saying? They didn't know. Maybe I'm not gonna say
what.
I'm not gonna say they did not know.
They were unaware.
They were unaware, maybe, of how offensive that it was.
How would it look on a human being?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But you also got to think too that these shows come out months in advance, and these same celebrities that were saying that they're going to, put a stop to ban, that particular brand, they participated in this show. Yeah. But now that they're gonna get the backlash now because they were like, even if you look at Young Thug, I listened to a Young Thug interview.
Yeah, he was like, I don't give a fuck.
No, not that interview. He was like, he didn't know.
Yeah,
he didn't know.
But he still wore it, bro.
That's what I'm saying, because he didn't know.
But it's a thing. He didn't know what
he said he wore it. He said he wore it before he knew the history of what he put on. So
I just think by looking at it, it didn't look correct. That's like with Burberry in the news.
Also, that's why they need more diversity. Like correct. We were talking about on these designs.
You have to,
because they know, like, especially when you're famous and you're well known, you're not an indie brand. Like, whatever you put out, billions of people will see that and know, and it will either raise controversy or either it'll not raise controversy. But it's up to the team and everyone on that team to go through all the research and make sure when they launch this design, it's not going to raise heads.
But sometimes you could be playing into that too, because it's not. I feel like we make everything an issue today.
No, I don't think so.
I do. It's like some things are over exaggerated.
I feel like as long as you have a good explanation, at least for what you're doing, and at least like introduce it to the public, like, if you're going to do this, say that you're going to do it. Don't let people think things, because when people think, they're going to think and think and think, and it's going to raise all types of things. So if you're just transparent about it from the get-go and very blunt about it, at least it's not like a secret or like you're trying to be a certain type of way, even if it wasn't trying to be that certain type.
So how do you guys feel on the situation with H&M? And they had the white kid in the shirt saying King?
No, it was a black kid.
No, but no, the reason why it was an issue is because it's side by side. He said King of the Apes, and then it was like Master of the Jungle. It was like basically like he's his controller. I forgot the exact what it said on the shirt, but that's why it was an issue. So that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, you could do your research, you could do all that, but if you're sending a message and whoever did that shoot put the black kid in that and the white kid, they knew what they were doing because it was placed side by side. So for it to get from photography to push to production and then to get placed side by side in the ad, something no one is seeing that. Like, they don't have I guess I don't know what it's called, but like they don't have a racial team. Like, hey, this is not gonna come off well to the black audience. I don't get how you can make a noose and think it's okay. Everybody know what a noose means in America. Yeah. It's not misunderstood. It's no misdirection. People know what they're doing. It's gonna sell.
But this is the problem too. Like, a lot of times people are looking for Europeans for the validation of what we consider fashion. because you got to think this is a European company. We're not talking about an American company. We don't praise American companies the same way as we do European companies.
Secretly, I just think they don't like. It's always been. I've always heard since I was young. Oh, luxury designers don't want black people in their stuff, and they have been slowly doing subtle stuff for black people not to wear their stuff, but black people are still wearing their stuff. Never gonna change.
So, I mean, but that's gonna play more on the mindset of what we consider cool. Like if you need that gratification of this particular brand to have an identity for yourself, then that's the reason that it keeps going in a cycle. Because the person that don't need that validation is here, is here, is here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have your own sense of style, your own personality where you make the choices. It's not like you're going into a store that you don't know no history about, but you're buying a product just because it looks cool. Yeah. That's the psychological mindset that we're continuing to progress over and over and over again.
No, because in a way you got to think about it like this. Like, you find out your favorite artist is a Republican and he voted for Trump. But you love their music. I support you as an artist, but I don't support your beliefs. So should I still support you? Because you're an artist. Like, people have to stop trying to segregate everything. Like, you gotta, if this person represents one thing, they should represent one thing. And like what she was saying earlier, like, you need to represent your beliefs. And that's what happens. People are always quiet on their beliefs. Yeah, and then so you find out and you're appalled, and it's like, you should have took that time out to find out.
But that goes back to what I'm saying about you if you need validation from these European companies, then you have to self-reflect at that point. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
I don't think that's validation.
Somebody, why would I necessarily need to know the history of a European country? Like, if that's not something that I care about, like, you know what I'm saying? If that's not my target audience, not my target audience, and I already don't want you in my clothes already, why should I be self-aware of how you feel?
Yeah.
Again, we are validating these companies by continuing to empower them with our money that we're continuing to put in their pockets for somebody that don't care about us. Okay. If you want outcome, you don't put money in their pockets. Yeah. Simple as that. Even I would say, even with that whole controversy with the mask, you play right into that. That was a trap. Because you got to think about how much free marketing that company got, and just from people speaking out on that.
Yeah,
but it changed,
that drive.
So sometimes you feel like this could be like a strategic move to drive.
Of course, of course.
I think the impact was good though. Like, they created more jobs. Yeah, the letter said they're gonna be more diversity in the company. I feel like that's more of you playing right into the trap, because we can create these drops in these different segments into, trying to create awareness in the brand. But at the end of the day, if we still want to push this narrative, we can still push this narrative now. We can still do it. It's just now it's going to be coming from somebody that looks like you now. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
So it's like, again,
you have a choice.
You have a choice. Like, you can't tell me it's a million different brands now today, and this will go back to a conversation that we had. We're still lingering on old ass fashion.
Yeah.
Like, why are we still holding on to these brands and we consider them this is the top of the top? Why? It's luxury is
what you make
is what you make it, and it's defined on craftsmanship. It's the same way a person that works for, Gucci or Louis Vuitton, the same way that they have that craft and that skill, they produce other garments. Like, just say they manufacture for Gucci, and they also manufacture for Louis Vuitton, and they also manufacture for this private company that's really small, but they don't get the same advertisement as, the larger companies. That craft is that craftsmanship is still there. It's just the label that's placed inside of the garment. So again, if you don't want to take parts of that particular company, then you need to validate yourself. Well, not validate, but you need to
self-evaluate.
Yeah, self-evaluate. Like, these particular issues that you're having. Like, you will never see me in a Gucci garment ever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Ever. Why? Because I mean, that's not for me. That's not my
also
style.
Not your style.
That's not my style. Yeah. And where I grew up, like, it's small towns. Like, my dad was in the army, so it's small towns. They didn't care about fashion. When I got introduced to fashion, I seeked out only what I liked, not what I knew.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Only what I liked. And when I seen Rick, I was like, oh, I like that. And from there, even, still getting the knowledge of other brands, I still always come back to that because that's what I like.
Yeah.
So I don't need to steer out to get gratification from these.
I think that's what a lot of
the
people
logo
forget these days.
Like that. It's
buy
like
what you like.
Yeah, like
it's always about what they know and what they see people wearing, other than what they would actually wear.
Yeah, like that's the most important part because again, if you have a problem with these major, almost $1 trillion company, well, $1 billion companies, like, put your foot down. Don't support it. Simple as that. If you don't like a TV show, what you gonna do?
Stop watching it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Don't subscribe to it. It's simple.
Literally.
But we get so caught up in the following and the audience. It's like, oh no, that's cool. We need that.
Yeah.
You know.
Support Black business.